Well, I think it's time for us to start. I hope everyone can hear me well, loud and clear. There you go, lovely. Wonderful to see all of you for this month's Fusatsu ceremony. It's a wonderful tradition we've been doing for a long time now, and it's like family coming together. This is the bunch of wrongdoers that come to atone and recommit, and I'm entirely happy with that. So if everyone's ready, we're going to go through our initial ceremony as usual, the incense offering, and then we're going to begin with the usual atonement for past misdeeds, invoking the presence of the Buddhas, and purifying ourselves, and then actually reciting the precepts together. You will notice throughout the ceremony today, I've got a little thing happening with my foot, which means my grace and poise are nowhere to be found, so my prostrations are going to be clunky and painful. So please accept my apologies for looking rough. As always, we begin with our little reading. The great precepts of Gautama Buddha were kept by all Buddhas. They were transmitted from Buddha to Buddha, and they were received by ancestor after ancestor. Our great master, Gautama Buddha, transmitted the precepts to Master Mahakāssyapa. Master Mahakāssyapa transmitted the precepts to Master Ananda. And the transmission of the precepts has continued in this way, passing from orthodox successor to orthodox successor in one line. Now we reaffirm our commitment to the precepts, to return the profound benevolence of Gautama Buddha. We trust this to be the true reception of Gautama Buddha's wisdom and life. Respectfully following the approval of Gautama Buddha, we would like to devote ourselves to the precepts, beginning with atoning for past misdeeds. Let us recite together the verse of atonement 3 times. We have a little deep gasho in between.
All harmful acts, words and thoughts, ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger and ignorance, born of my body, mouth and mind, now I atone for them all. All harmful acts, words and thoughts, ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger and ignorance, born of my body, mouth and mind, now I atone for them all. All harmful acts, words and thoughts, ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger and ignorance, born of my body, mouth and mind, now I atone for them all.
Kote, for this one, you can continue doing the chants, even though my prostrations are probably going to be slower, okay? So we don't hold everyone back. I'll catch up with you.
Homage to the 7 Buddhas of the past. Homage to Shakyamuni Buddha, a person of this earth. Homage to Miroku Buddha, symbol of hope for the future. Homage to Manju Bodhisattva, symbol of great wisdom. Homage to Fugan Bodhisattva, symbol of great activity. Homage to Kanzeon Bodhisattva, symbol of great compassion. Homage to the successive generations of ancestor bodhisattvas.
Please have a seat. It is the part of the ceremony where we're going to purify ourselves symbolically and literally even before we recite the precepts together wholeheartedly. So if you brought water or coffee, we can use that to sprinkle ourselves 3 times. We like our 3s for Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, and all the other lists of 3 that we have in our Buddhist texts. So we take our little piece of foliage or our fingers, and you know what to do. So this purifies us But actually, what purifies us is being here. It is taking the time during this day to reflect upon what it means to have taken the precepts, what it means to take the precepts, what it means to break the precepts. The whole reason for coming together for this day of recommitment, which in other traditions is called uposatha, or it could be the day of recommitting to, for monks is the reciting of the monastic rules. For lay practitioners in other traditions, it is a day of taking on either the 5 or the 8 precepts that usually are given to novice monks, and spend time with them during 24 hours. And so for us, the idea of purifying ourselves, I feel, has to do a lot with what happens when we come here, the reason we feel compelled to come here. It's not just because it's a ceremony that we do with the Sangha, right? Although it is part of it, but it's not just that. There is the underlying reason of why all of you chose, or those of you that have formally taken the precepts, why you chose to do that. And why you choose to come here every month. And so thinking about the precepts, I always try to find something that I might be able to say to you all that's not too deep, doesn't sound like a teaching, doesn't, make things awkward or weird. But I was thinking at how we look at the precepts. There's this, at least in my take or experience with them, there's this two-sided approach to them that I found to be useful. One is the general one, where we take the precepts and they form sort of a foundation for our day-to-day lives. They come and go out of our awareness. Sometimes we do something that's so monumentally stupid that we realize, ooh, I broke a precept. Other days, it might be not noticeable, but we have this thing in the back of our neck where we go, well, shouldn't have talked like that. Shouldn't have said that. I wish I'd reacted in a different way. Oh, that's not me. Or whatever happens, right? There's this underlying general kind of approach where we say, I took the precepts, every now and then I come back to them. And then I thought, even the monastic rules, the code of the Vinaya that was given by the Buddha, it was talked about in terms of training rules. It wasn't kind of hard, fast rule of you got to keep this in every moment and it's just set in stone. They might look like that, but the Buddha formulated that, and it applies to the precepts too, in a kind of a training rule. And I'm not very good when it comes to sports. Therefore, the clunky prostrations, because my body is not good for anything. But some of you, Kote, for example, and I know Daine, you also do, you get on a bike and you do sports, and others probably also do sports. When we talk about training, I'm not an expert, but I know that there's this general kind of training that you do to keep the body in shape, to keep the body healthy, to keep it moving, to keep it accustomed to the effort, to what you're trying to accomplish. And then there's very specialized kind of training. Right, Kote? When you train for like a marathon or for a specific event or something, there's different kinds of training that you do. And I thought about that. I thought it's so appropriate when it comes to the precepts. Because most of the time, yes, we take them in a general sense, and they're not hard rules, they're guidelines for our lives. But a day like this, a moment like this where we specifically sit down together to think about the precepts, think about the relationship between the precepts and what we do every day. This is an actual opportunity for maybe a more focused approach to them. When we ponder here, we purify ourselves, we ponder our commitment to the precepts, we ponder our actions for the past whatever days has been since the last time we did the ceremony. We think about our acts, words, and thoughts. And I'm sure all of us are able to learn something from that and go, okay, I know that I have a problem with this thing. I know that this precept is difficult. I know that I'm not entirely sure of how to apply this. So a day like this can also offer us a way of training in a specialized kind of way, where we can take up something and go, maybe for the next weeks, I can keep this in the forefront in a more intentional way. And it's sort of a focused training because the precepts can be taken to work on body, speech, and mind. We can take them and we can figure out, okay, how does it handle my actions? How does it apply to what's behind my actions? How can I train my speech, my words, my thoughts in relation to these precepts? And of course, we're only 1 month away from the beginning of our fall practice period, our Ango. And our Ango is where the precepts really are forefront, center for all of us. We can talk about them, we can read about them, we can discuss them. Our next round of Jukai participants are going to be looking into them in detail. And that's also, that period of 3 months, a wonderful opportunity to maybe take one or various of these precepts, take them aside and work with them individually. And look at the training aspect of them. I guess that's sufficient. That's my encouragement to you. Don't let it just stay in the back of the mind. Sometimes bring it to the forefront and stay with it for a minute. But I think now we can return to the precepts themselves. So I invite you to wholeheartedly chant, wholeheartedly recite them, and think about them at the same time. Really let the words drench your bones as we recite them together. All you disciples of the Buddha, join your palms in reverence and listen wholeheartedly. I would now like to articulate the preface to the great precepts of the Buddhas. If the members of the assembly will quietly listen, and they know that they have done wrong, they will atone. If they atone, then they will be at ease. If they do not repent, their wrongdoing will grow more grievous. Those who have done wrong are silent. And because of their silence, you should know that they are all purified. Worthy monks, laywomen, laymen, and all the rest, listen well. In this difficult age, when the lifetime of the Buddha sometimes seems distant, you should revere the Pratimoksha. The Pratimoksha is none other than these precepts. When you observe these precepts, it is like darkness meeting with light. It is like someone poor attaining a treasure. It is like someone who is ill being healed. It is like a prisoner being released from his chains. It is like a traveler who is able to return home. You should know that these rules are the great teacher for this assembly of people, no different from the presence of the Buddha in the world here and now. Thoughts of fear are difficult to produce. Unwholesome thoughts are difficult to give rise to. Therefore, a sutra says, do not trivialize minor misdeeds as if they're not problematic. Drops of water, although tiny, will gradually fill a large basin. A single instant of wrongdoing can lead you to fall into a hell of uninterrupted suffering. Once you lose your human body, you may not get another one for 10,000 kalpas. Just as a galloping horse, one's physical strength will not remain. The transience of human life goes beyond the mountains and seas. Even if something remains for the duration of one day, it'll be quite difficult to hold on to it tomorrow. Members of the assembly should each energetically advance their own minds. Be careful not to be lazy, negligent, drowsy, or arbitrary. In the evening, you must gather your thoughts and focus them firmly on the three treasures. Don't take as being a waste of time the effort to deepen your repentance for those of later generations. Members of the assembly, each of you, in your own minds, should carefully rely on these precepts. Discipline yourselves in the practices that accord with the Buddha's teachings. So together now, we reaffirm our commitment to seek as I can in this body and life to avoid doing harm, to seek as I can in this body and life to live in a healthful and helping way, doing good, to seek as I can in this body and life to live for the benefit of all sentient beings, to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from the killing of life, to seek as I can in this body and life to live in generosity and refrain from taking that which is not given, to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from misusing sexuality and all desire, to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from false and malicious speech, to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from intoxication in its many forms, to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from unconstructively criticizing the errors and faults of others, to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from praising oneself and judging others, to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from stinginess in bestowing the Buddhist teachings and all precious things, to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from all anger, to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from disparaging the three treasures, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. I think most of you have done this before, so you know that for this part, at the end of each verse, there is a small bell, which means you can either do a full prostration if your body allows you to, or you can just do a deep gasho, whatever you feel comfortable.
I take refuge in Buddha. May all living beings embody the great way and give rise to the highest aspiration. I take refuge in Dharma. May all living beings enter deeply into the sutras, that ocean of wisdom. I take refuge in Sangha. May all living beings support harmony in the community, free from all hindrances. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable.
Abiding in this ephemeral world, may we exist in muddy water with purity like a lotus. Nothing escapes the boundless mind. Thus we bow to Buddha. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, reality existing right here now. In reaffirming our commitment to the precepts, we dedicate our sincere efforts to Shakyamuni Buddha, honored one, the historical Buddha and teacher, to the all-pervading and everlasting three treasures, to all arhats and bodhisattvas, mahasattvas, and their relations throughout the Dharma worlds. May we all realize and live the enlightened way together.
All Buddhas throughout space and time, all Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Maha Prajna Paramita.
Thank you very much. My most sincere gratitude for your presence and practice. Everything aligned perfectly. My candle is dead. It lasted exactly as long as the ceremony did. I wish you a wonderful rest of the... what day is today? Saturday. Oh gosh, I'm confused. A wonderful rest of the day. Wonderful weekend. a wonderful month of practicing with the precepts. And hopefully I'll see you next month. It's probably going to be my last hellish Fusatsu, because temperatures here are just insane. I'm boiling right now. So it's probably going to be my last one in those conditions. And then, yes, Ian, yes. And then we have, September in Ango, and it's going to be wonderful. So do your best with the precepts and also have fun and do good things. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. See you
That
tomorrow
would be
morning.
great.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See, there's not a single part of me right now that recognizes that it's Saturday, that tomorrow is Zazenkai Day and everything.
Let me end the stream.